F3. Like the name suggests, we have different generations of our company. So I'll talk about that a bit later. We are exploring for uranium in the Athabasca. We've got a pretty good track record. Most people, if they find one discovery, they're lucky. Two is impossible. Three, well, someone said, Ray must have lived a very good life in the previous life to have 3 discoveries to his name. So we've just made our 3rd discovery in our history of our group. That discovery included, as you can see, 15 meters of 7%, 14.5 meters of 9%. The mineralization is very shallow, 150 meters, but there's also very significant widths. Our strike length's up to 150 meters now. Each program, we're able to extend it. The fun part lately has been the EM survey we did. We were able to take the A1 conductor and the B1. They're parallel, about 300 meters apart, and we were able to, through the EM survey, we were able to expand that up to 5 kilometers. 5 kilometers of conductor is a lot of land. You could spend a lifetime there because you only need a few meters for a discovery. Now we're talking kilometers. We're excited lately about all the boron we found in B1. Where you find a lot of uranium, you tend to find a lot of boron. Well, we found a lot of boron, now we've got to find the uranium that went through there. Corporately, we just announced we're spinning out 14 of our projects into a company, F4. You'll get 1 share for every share you own. We'll do a rollback of 10 for 1. The whole idea is to unlock value in those projects. It allows us to focus on PLN and those surrounding properties, and also we'll bring a team in to unlock what's been going on with the other 14 projects. All our projects we staked in bear markets, which means we paid very little for them. We didn't go out and buy them, we staked them. And we've got a good team that keeps an eye on people draw properties, and we've made discoveries at the unconformity and in the basement, so we have an idea of what to look for when we're looking at projects and see if it fits our criteria for acquisition. So anyways, that'll be spun out fairly soon. You'll get a free share. We also had an investment of $15 million from Dennison. I consider Dennison and David Cates, they've done a super job in the basin, fabulous. And they, after going into our data room, doing lots of homework, they chose to put money with us. We're very excited to have them on the team. Also, when you get someone like Dennison on your team, you're not just getting money, you're getting brains. And that's smart money. I'll take that any day. This means geologists in the crowd will be very excited about this. The rest of us will wonder, what the heck is this? Well, that's rock that's just beat up. That's exciting because that means something went through this system. There's a lot of alteration here. And that's why we're drilling. We got 1 rig at B1 looking to find where this uranium came from, and another one to expand what's going on at A1. I'm going to skip this, the nuclear story, because I think you've heard it all. What I will say is this. Yesterday in Congress, a bill got passed to accelerate nuclear power in the States. Why does that matter? Because for the first time, I've been doing this since 1996. I've never seen both sides of the aisle, the Greenies and the Democrats, saying, hey, renewables aren't working. So what do? We need clean energy. Well, nuclear, there we go, nuclear energy. So, and over here, the Republicans want security of energy, something that Germany wished they had thought of when they went out to, they put their heart on renewables, and we know what's happened there. This slide, track record, I get it. What have you done for me lately? I know that's the mentality of our industry, but I think what you have done in the past goes to credibility of what you say you're going to do. Well, if you owned a share of Strathmore back in 2007, today you look in your account, and especially in a few weeks, you'll see a share of Energy Fuels, FCU, Dennison, and you'll get F3 and now F4. Meaning what we do is once we make a discovery, we've always spun out. We've been able to make deals where the main core asset moves on and gets developed, and we take the other assets and move it forward. Also, we're a joint venture in Strathmore with Sumitomo for $50 million. Korean Electric Power Company and Fission Energy was $44 million. So we have not only been able to find uranium, we've been able to monetize it. And that's important, because I think you need both set of skills in an exploration company, is someone to find uranium, and what do you do with these assets? We're in the Athabasca because we think it's the best place in the world. It'd be nice to be in Kazakhstan, but we don't have access to land there. All the deals are pretty awkward. If awards matter to you, well, we won every award there is, because again, we made our discoveries at the bear market when nobody was doing a whole lot, so it was pretty easy to win awards. People often ask me, how do you find uranium? Well, you don't have to, just hire smart people. No, kidding. A drill hole can cost you $400,000 to $500,000. That's a lot of money. And you know what? Surveys can cost you $50,000. EM surveys can cost you maybe $60,000. Bottom line is, you can do a lot of work before you drill, and that's what we tend to do. It may frustrate some people that we tend to go slower, but when let's say you're drilling and you don't hit, you didn't miss. As far as we're concerned, we will learn about the geochemistry of that hole, and that will lead us to where not to drill or where to drill next. So these are the things that we look for before we drill. We call them ticking the boxes. So I'm going to hand this over to Ray Ashley. He's going to talk about what we look for, and importantly, why is the B1 shear zone, so why are we so excited about it? And why do we think we can find another pot of uranium? He's the smarter of the guy of the group, so we'll leave him second.
Thanks, Dev. Well, it started November, a year and 3 months ago with the discovery hole. It was a really nice discovery hole. We've been very active since then. So this is the Alasa Basin and showing F3's properties. So there's 17 properties there, and as Dev mentioned, we've announced that we're spinning out 14 of them so that F3 into F4. And that'll allow F3 to stay focused on the PLN property where the JR Zone discovery was made. This shows the PLN property itself. The yellow star and the label is the JR Zone. That's our high-grade discovery. We have one diamond drill right there right now, trying to expand that zone. The green property that you see highlighted is a property that in January, we had a property swap with Canalaska, and the PW property we've now incorporated into what we call the Broach Lake property. So the properties you see here are what F3 is focused on. What you notice is the Arrow, NextGen's Arrow and Triple R deposit are 25 kilometers to the southeast, and then Highway 955 is, what will easily connect JR's own mineralization to the mill that most certainly will end up down by Triple R and Arrow. This just shows you our discovery core. That's what it looks like. The very darkest black is the high-grade core on the left of the discovery hole, and on the right you see a hole 60 meters to the south. That's what the mineralization looks like, and you can see the high grades and widths. So yeah, this is looking at the JR Zone itself. You can see the red outline is where we ended up at the end of the winter program last year. So we extended the zone to 105 meters in strike length. After the summer program, the other holes you see, we expanded that by 50%, and there was a lot of mineralization added up dip. So we've started our winter program. There's one drill right now at JR continuing to infill and expand that zone. It's the first hole of the winter program hit off-scale radioactivity, so there's still room to expand and grow it, and really to collect the data that will be needed for the maiden resource estimate on the JR zone lens. There's a second diamond drill right now at the property, and what it's doing, as Dev said, is to try and find the next zone of mineralization along the corridor. So the JR zone's at the north end of the A1 and B1 structural corridor that's 5 kilometers in length. So Dev said it, that's a lot of strike length, and there's a lot of potential for other zones. Ross McElroy mentioned that they occur, these deposits often occur as pearls on a necklace. We're looking for the other pearls that we see signs, actually really good signs that we're close to another zone. This now shows you the A1 and B1 shear zones. And you're seeing a strike length there of about 4 kilometers. The entire thing's about 5. So JR zone's at the very north end. The second drill is right now down at B1. B1 there has all of the right signs that there's nearby, all the hallmarks of nearby high-grade mineralization. There's cross-fault evidence of cross-faulting with 200 meters of downdrop. There's sniffs of radioactivity. There's intense dissolution and brecciation in the sandstone. The basement is completely deformed. Really, the signs for proximal high-grade mineralization are greater at B1 than even the rocks immediately around our JR zone high-grade lens. So we're focused. Really, the next step change for F3 is the discovery of the next zone of mineralization, and we're focused on that. Just to show you what B1 looks like, there's brecciation and silicification in the sandstone. There's dravite, so boron, up to 10,800 ppm boron in the bottom of the sandstone in the B1 area. That is exceedingly anomalous, and the only other places on the property where we see boron of that anomalous is right immediately at the JR zone. So just quickly, that's a cross-section to show you what the JR zone lens looks like. The brown is the shear zone, and you see 45 meters up and down the shear zone is the mineralization. It's near the top of the basement, crystalline basement rocks, which is the purple line, and it's a zone that comes in and out of the page at us. It's a horizontal lens that's now 156 meters long. And there you see the yellow is the sandstone. So the Athabasca sandstone is about 60 meters thick there, and the lens is 200 meters roughly below the surface. If I now take you to B1, which is where we see the best signs for the next discovery of another zone, you see A1. A1 is the brown shear zone, and this is the north end of B1. And the yellow is the north end of B1. And there we see sniffs of radioactivity, and what you notice is there's no sandstone. So it's outside the basin. If I now step a few hundred meters south along B1, which I'll do, you'll see there's suddenly 200 meters of sandstone. So that shows there's a big downdrop block. Those cross faults are often important to the mineralization, localization of the fluids that bring in the mineralization. All the brown you see along the drill holes is dissolution of the sandstone, which is evidence of extensive hydrothermal fluid flow. And then you can see in the bottom of hole 83 the highly anomalous boron. We now have completed all the ground geophysics over Christmas, 3D resistivity. Dev mentioned it. The geophysics, it's what guides the drilling. There's new EM, ground EM that's been completed. And the color image you see is the airborne MT survey that we flew last summer. We have all that data inverted and interpreted. We have our geochemistry from the drilling we did at B1 in the fall program. That's all the data we need to be targeting at B1 And there's a drill right now trying very hard to home onto that next zone of mineralization. Yeah, okay. Just finally, so it's, you know, there's going to be a lot of exploration to look for the next zone and to define these other, to look for the prospectivity of these other shear zones. That's where we're at. And as Dev said, look, just to look at Triple R, there's 5 different pearls, 5 different zones in a 3.3 kilometer area. On the left is Fission Uranium Corp's Triple R. So I'll leave it there for any questions.